Good morning, sunshine. Welcome to Morning Inspiration with Friends with our host, Miss Inspiration. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe as you sit back and listen. Good morning. It is your girl Tanisha Shanae, Miss Inspiration here with another message, another morning message that we are here every morning, Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. ish Central Time. And today we're going to continue this conversation about your gift. So yesterday we spoke about how our gift doesn't expire. So if you didn't watch yesterday's message, go over into this same playlist the day before. You will be able to watch that video. Today I want to talk about misusing your gifts. Yeah, this needs to be talked about because a lot of people misuse their gifts. Their gifts are not being utilized for the right reasons. And when I say misusing your gift, it just really means you are taking the focus off of God, right? And you're making it about something else. 9 times out of 10, people are making things about themselves. They're making things about money. It's not about God. It's not about the people. It's not about servants and people. And that is an issue after a while. So that's something that I do want to talk about today. So the first thing is that a lot of people, how do they misuse their gift? They will seek the validation, right? The public validation. They want to be known. They want to be popular. And it's not about the service. It's not about, like I said, the people that are behind this. And I've seen this. I have too many examples of when I've seen this happen with social media content creators who they might start with the mindset of, I'm doing this for God's people. And then quickly, as you continue to take in their content, it's nothing about God and his people. It's about them, right? And so I think about the people that are constantly on social media crying and complaining about not having enough people like their post. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna stop posting. I'm gonna delete my page because y'all not liking my videos. Y'all not liking my posts. I'm gonna just delete everything. You're looking for validation. You are looking for 100, 1,000 people to like your content and to like your message. And if they don't, then you are no longer willing to serve and to provide that support that you were supposed to be given according to what God is telling you, especially when they started to monetize. And I saw this a lot on Facebook, right? There are a lot of people, they are still on Facebook. So they're looking for the claps, they're looking for the thumbs up, the applause, more than they are caring about the impact. And I used to say quite often, if you are claiming to do something in the name of Jesus and you are worried about how many people are clapping, how many people are liking, then you are not doing this for God and for Jesus. You're not. You're doing this for you. Because we always know, anytime, especially people who are speaking authentic, that are truly speaking about testimony, the way that God has come through and delivered them from things, the signs and wonders and miracles, we know that those posts are not always popular. We know that. You the underdog, you walking in already the underdog. But if you are truly doing this, and even the people, even if you get 20 solid people, those 20 solid people need everything that God is pouring into you to give out to the world. So you're looking for validation, and the validation is there. But you want the big validation. You want the 1,000 likes within 20 minutes of you posting. You want 100,000 followers. You want the views it's gonna help you go viral. Sometimes you will never go viral, and that's okay. You have to understand that. Because if you're truly doing this because you know this is what you're called to do, then you have to understand this is about what God is telling you to do. And if God is truly telling you to do these things, then you should just continue to do it the way that he is telling you to do. You have to trust his process. God doesn't care about Facebook's algorithm. That's not his focal point. That's your focal point. So you got to get on his accord and understand how he works. You're meant to use that gift to serve, not to feed your ego. And the more that people start understanding that, it's a lot of people allowing their egos to stand in the way to the true abundance and blessings that God truly wants to give you. But you're worrying about the wrong thing. Now, yesterday we spoke about ignoring or trying to bury our gift with fear because it's the easiest thing to do, right? So a lot of times we always think that misusing means that we're going to overuse it, right? We trying to be everywhere. But a lot of times it's also when you just neglect it. When you neglect using your gift, that's you also misusing it. So when I spoke yesterday about me putting my gift on the shelf because of what I went through, that was me misusing it. I was misusing it. I was not truly trying to utilize it, because when we are trying to bury our gifts, right, that means that we cannot allow it to multiply. This is why we say, and what's that in Matthew 25, when you read that, you have to understand that your gifts is going to multiply and it's going to make room for you. But if you're burying it, if you're putting it on the shelf, like it's Elf on the shelf, it's not going to be used. Well, at least Elf on the shelf gets used. So let me not say that one. Elf on the shelf, we having, 25 or about 30 days? Come on, Paul. Yes, it is October. Happy October. Happy fourth quarter. We're in fourth quarter. All right. The last thing I want to talk about is that we tend to, we're chasing these trends, right? Like I said, I think I said yesterday, we talk about, and this is the part of misusing it, right? You're chasing. So no, God gives people downloads. I'm speaking to the people that fully have heard what God has told them to do and they're not following the instructions. God told you how to do it. He told you where to do it. And you try to fit everything that God told you into someone else's framework. He gave you the framework. This is why so many people get upset. I don't know, I need the blueprint. No, you already got the blueprint. If you literally sat down and you spoke to God already, you got the blueprint. You got the best blueprint because you got it from the higher, from the highest of all. These people will now get you to come and say, you don't have to do it that way. Right? And I remember when I first started speaking, I had a young lady. She was like, oh my gosh, I would just love to work with you. She was trying to be my manager. Okay. A booking agent, rather. So she was listening to my messages and she said to me, you know, you talk about God a lot. You need to stop talking about God. You need to really focus on the people. They don't want to hear about God. Those are not my peoples. What are you talking about? I was like, God gave me this framework. He gave me everything. At that point, he had literally given me the entire blueprint. I just needed someone to help me to get plugged into organizations and they get a percentage. That was all that I needed. But she was trying to make me force my gift into something else to fit into what was trending at that time. And that's where a lot of people end up losing their authentic voice. You lose that because you're trying to trend. You're trying to use the words and the methods that they're using instead of the way that God is telling you to do it. This is the reason why, if you are truly trying to do the work that God has called you to do, the way that God has called you to do it, it's not going to look like anyone else's. Your path is going to look so different from other people. There are many people out here that are doing amazing work, that are thriving, that are successful, and successful to the terms that they have defined. Because we're going to take a pause right now. That's a lot of people's problems. A lot of people don't know how to define success for themselves. So I'd rather you sit and get quiet and figure out with God, what does success mean for me, so that I can have an understanding, and then I can go out there and I can do this, so that you don't get caught up in what's popular, because it is sometimes very challenging. But if you know, like God said, do it this way, stick to that. Stop trying to go popular, because you're losing your authentic voice. And the people that need that, because remember I said yesterday, we all can teach someone something. I might have said this Monday. We all can teach someone something. And the reason why we all can teach someone something is because we all have a unique voice. This is the reason why if we truly were supposed to do everything one way, we will all have the same schools, right? Every school will have the same curriculum, because they don't. We will have the teachers all having the same curriculum, and as far as the education that they're going to learn, because they don't. Everything is authentic. It has a form of uniqueness. So this is the reason why some people were like, oh no, I want to go to this one, because this one they're going to focus on this, and they teach this way, right? You can go to a school that's very artsy. The teachers there are going to teach different. They're going to teach using art and being super creative. Whereas if you go to like a private school that's very strict to the book, 801, you have to be in your seat with the pencil in your hand, because we're going to teach you how to do this, and it's going to have this certain method. There's no one way to do anything. So if you are losing your authentic voice, the people that would normally listen to your authentic voice, they're now going to stray away from you, because it's no longer familiar to them. You are no longer speaking their language. You are now speaking a foreign language. Your actions are foreign. Everything is like totally like, oh, who is this person? And sometimes it works for people. And for most times, especially the people that's supposed to be doing the way that God is calling them to do it, it doesn't work out for them. It doesn't. People start to walk away, right? Because you're misusing it. This is the reason why we see churches. When people start seeing pastors doing what they want to do, making up their own rules, and we have all probably been there one time or another, people start leaving. People be like, wait. The way this started and the way this is going, this ain't looking right. And I've been there before. I done left the church before, because I'm like, the way this was going, it was going well. And then something happened. And a lot of times it's because now they start either feeding into their ego, they're making things about them, or now they just want to do what everybody else is doing. Oh, so and so, they got 1,000 members because they started to do this. This is when we started seeing everyone coming with big, Broadway productions at church. That's not for every church. Every church don't need smoke and fire and all that. Every church doesn't need that. So if you are the church and the people that are there with you, and I don't know why we're talking about this, but somebody might need this message. If the people that are there with you, riding out with you, and then all of a sudden you start trying to do what they're doing over in transformation, you might lose your members. Because they might not want all of that. They might not need all of that. All of that might become a distraction. So they don't hear you anymore. Because now they jump in and like, right? The lights. People forget. So if someone is truly walking in their authentic self and they're showing up the way that God is telling them to show up, the right people are going to be there. And no matter what, wrong people, they're going to come, they're going to look, they want to see what you're doing, what you're about. You're always going to have some people who just don't belong there. But guess what? That's their job. Their job is to be there to distract you, to criticize you, to critique everything that you're doing. Those people are always going to be there. So they're going to try to get you off your path because that's their job. That young lady that was trying to get me to stop talking about God in my messaging back when she wanted to be my booking agent, she was trying to get me off my job and it didn't work. It did not work. I had to let her go. You're not taking me off my path. Right? So when you have a purpose-driven gift, your purpose-driven gift has to be used the way that it was given to you from the creator, right? You don't need to keep up with the Jones, you don't need to keep up with the crowd. You need to just continue to do it the way that it needs to be done. And when you do it that way, it becomes timeless. People can pick up you and go click on one of your videos or audios if you have podcasts, or pick up one of your books, and it's still relevant. Although Dr. Miles Monroe is no longer here with us in the physical, his teachings are still as impactful. His teachings are still relevant. Even in 2025, his teachings are still relevant because he was walking in his true, authentic self, the way that God designed for him to do it. And the people that are resonating, even though some people who may not have even been born 10, 15, 20 years, as long as we still have access to things like a YouTube, his children can keep his channel going. And I promise you, it's still going to bless so many people. I promise you, it's going to help people to get through tough times, to help and understand what their purpose is, to understand what kingdom marriage is, because that's mainly what Dr. Miles Monroe he taught about and what he spoke about. So when you do that and you properly use your gift, it's always going to make room for you, even when you're not here. That's what we should be getting on focus. Take your ego out. Take your emotions out. And I speak to myself about this because I get very emotional. And I'm like, you know what, God, I don't want to do this anymore. And I'll get over myself and I'll come right back. It's okay to take a week away. Y'all notice every couple of months, every quarter, I take at least 1 week away. Because it's okay to step away and press that reset and just get your mind going and just focus on the things that you need to focus. There's nothing wrong with that. But God said, I'm going to need you to get back. Your rest can be for a week, maybe even a month. But you got to get back. And that's somebody that dropped in my spirit. I'm going to reach out to her because I haven't seen her on the line in like 2 years, right? So I just hope that this message really resonated with you today. If you are misusing your gift, if you know someone that you might suspect, right? Because we can't always assume, but you might suspect that this person might be misusing their gift and worrying about all of the wrong things and trying to keep up with the Joneses, share this message with that person. Because we want to get people back focused on the important parts and the important things and using their gift the way that God really desires for them to use it. Share this message with them. So I am your girl, Tanisha Shanae, Miss Inspiration. Tomorrow is Thursday, so it's going to be another Throwback Thursday message. But again, happy October. We are in the fourth quarter of the year. 2025 is going by so quickly. I can't even believe it sometimes. So enjoy the rest of your day. You'll see me live and in person on Friday, but make sure you stay tuned for tomorrow's message. Throwback Thursday message. Okay. I also will have some updates. Remember, I have some workshops that I was working on. I'm finalizing those dates now that I know what my schedule for October is looking like, and I can make sure that I can produce and promise what I can promise. All right. So I definitely love you guys. Have a great day. Drop any comments, any questions that you have. I do have a special video that's dropping this weekend. It is about my experience as an intern at Rockefeller and Interscope Records. That was requested by people over on Threads. So it will be dropping over on YouTube this weekend. So make sure if you are watching me on Facebook, follow me over on YouTube so you can get that premiere. It's an interesting conversation. It's an interesting recap and reflection. And if you have questions about that after you watch that video, I probably will end up doing maybe one more video to answer any questions, but that's it. But that's something that I just wanted to put out there because, it's good to reflect and, in the times that we're living right now where we have people like Dame Dash, who was always on somebody's podcast talking about things, I just feel like people tend to forget. And they forget that other people were around at the same time. And this is the reason why I'm like, let me just share what I observed. This is all my observations and things that I saw and that I heard for like 2 years that I was at Rockefeller, and even when I left there, but I was still in the same area because we was down the hall from one another. So that might be interesting to you if you're, if you're interested in the history of the music industry, primarily Rockefeller Records and Jay-Z and Dame Dash and their beef. So that will be coming out the end of this week. So stay tuned for that. But other than that, I'll see you guys on Friday. Have a great day. Be well, be blessed, and I love you all.